This is episode 55 of the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. In this episode, we talk about JK being 2 weeks out from the World Championships. We talk about our sport to hybrid fitness racing episode series number 5, Crossfit to HYROX. We also discuss racing on multiple days at HYROX World Championships and how to recover and prepare. Let's make hybrid fitness work for you. How's it going today, JK?
Very well, thank you, Anthony. How are you going?
I'm good. We are 2 weeks away from World Championships.
Less than 2 weeks, man. Less than 2 weeks now. Right now, in 2 weeks' time, I'll be getting ready for the relay. Lauren will be getting ready for the relay. You'll be getting ready to cheer on the Australian team for the relay.
I gotta say, in the relay, the Canadian team has 2 athletes of mine in it. So
that's pretty good. Yep.
The US team has 1, the Australian team has 1.
Yep.
I mean, who do I root for?
I know, man.
I always root for my wife. So
yeah, of course. The Canadian team looks pretty strong, actually.
Yeah.
That's yeah, man. I can't believe it's less than 2 weeks away now. Hey.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
English team has 1 of my athletes too.
That's right, man.
They just announced that today.
Yep, they did. They did indeed. So, be exciting.
Yeah. So, JK, I'm curious. They announced the prize money and everything. Did you watch the live show me and your sister did?
I did. Not all of it, but I sure did. What's your question? Like, do I agree?
What were your thoughts? What were your thoughts when you saw the relay? I mean, we knew the individual prize money was going to go up. It's consistently gone up. I think it's a great jump. 5,000 more for first place, 6,000 more for second place, couple thousand more for third. And they're paying all the way down. I think the lowest is 2,000 or 2,500 or something like that at the bottom. But what did you think of the year 2 on the relay now showing the payouts and the year 1 on the doubles?
First glance, and I'll be honest, I don't want to even. Yeah, of course I've looked at it, but I haven't looked at it twice. It's great. It's fantastic to me because, as you said, second year of the relay and they're paying down to 5th. That's pretty good. And first year of the pro doubles and they're paying down to 5th. I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I that's literally all I can say about it. I'm happy. I'm stoked. I don't necessarily have anything else to report from my end.
Yeah. I gotta say, I was happy. I was stoked. I thought it was pretty impressive that the relay in year 1 was a $20,000 total prize purse. And it all went to first place.
Yeah.
Year 2, it's spread out. I think it's what would we say, 31,000 now, and it's spread out first through 5th. First place is lower, but everything else now you have depth of the field. And then, so to me, when I saw the doubles payouts, I was like, or when I saw the doubles payouts, I was like, wow, because I only expected year 1 of what the relay was, maybe 20,000 per gender. Being paid 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 or something. But man, they upped it for 12,000 for first, and then 10, and it's small gaps. So I think it's above and beyond what I thought it would have been.
Yeah, agreed. And it's only new. HYROX is still a new sport.
And this is year 1 of the doubles.
Exactly. So you could technically say it's actually, a new, the doubles is a new elite sport. So them putting on prize money in the first place to me is fantastic. So It's like it's only going to grow from here.
Yeah.
It's only
And
going to grow.
and I see it just like tennis doubles where the focus is always going to be the individuals. That's going to be the propped up highlight. The doubles is for the community because we're excited to see these you guys race more and more.
Yeah,
And then you'll see some people that are just double specialists and they can just pair with any of the great individual athletes and do really well, like doubles tennis kind of is.
for sure.
I kind of see that as the route that it's taking, and I think the community is excited about it, but to really bring people in from outside the sport and keep it growing, I think it's still the individuals is the highlight of the show, which is, I mean, in terms of the prize money, that's what it shows too.
Yeah, absolutely,
Um, so
absolutely.
just fantastic.
Yeah,
And I think we'll definitely see continued growth
yeah,
year over year.
100%. Yeah, yep.
Uh, so awesome that that was released. Going into a little roadmap of what we have today, I just want to talk about it. We're going to do our sport to hybrid fitness racing number 5. We talked about something similar to this before. We're going to do a CrossFitter if you're a CrossFit athlete. And we can talk about games athlete level, or we can talk about like traditional CrossFitter. But what I mean by that is not necessarily somebody who is a competitive CrossFit athlete, but coming from a CrossFit as a methodology background because the sport and the methodology are different. So somebody coming from a methodology background that's been going to their CrossFit classes, how do they get into HYROX or what do they need to start doing? Um, we'll go over. We still have a whole bunch of listener questions we're getting into, guys. If you want to do more of those, let's do that. I got a text message this morning from somebody that ran New York, and I want to share it. We talked about our embarrassing run stories, and yes, we got some, but I'm not going to read them today. I'm going to delete this one. Let's read some of these because I want to go through them and I want to give anybody an opportunity to send in more.
Yeah.
So we'll read them either on the next one or afterwards. Um, I want to talk today about since so many people that are going to Worlds are racing on multiple days, I want to reiterate this again. How do you handle racing on multiple days? So we'll tie in some things there. And then something we left off of last time that maybe we'll get to today is the off season or off season.
Yes.
What do you do? What do you do after Worlds?
Yep.
If somebody's lost, or maybe somebody isn't doing Worlds this year and they're curious on where to go.
Yep.
So
I like it.
that's kind of like what I have mapped out today, and so we'll get into that. First, before we get into that, more on the topic of just things happening at Worlds. How are you feeling about all three of the races that you're competing in? Do you have a plan? I'm gonna jump right to the multiple days. Sorry.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
have a plan for what you're gonna do? Because I know in the past, and I know it's not just you, it's several of the elite athletes. You guys usually have trouble sleeping or getting to bed after your race that for you starts at 8:30 p.m. and
Hmm.
you're done, if you're lucky at 9:20, 9:25, right? And then, if you're lucky, the top 5 of you guys at least are going to get drug tested. So you'll be another hour there. You got people you want to see and hug and talk to. So it's midnight before you even get home.
Yeah.
And most of you guys are hyped up on adrenaline and caffeine very late in the day. So how do you tackle that knowing you have another race the following day that is also late and then another one the day after that?
I think the first thing that I'll say, Anthony, is, and I've been doing this with my nightly like preparation to go to bed, is um, as soon as your race or as soon as my race finishes, right? As you said, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm trying to I'm trying to one get out of any environment that creates um, some sort of heightened stimulus. Now that's a huge kind of like thing to kind of think about, but if you're racing twice, 2 days in a row or 3 days in a row, and you are really and your performance is very important to you, get in, get out. That's the first thing I'll say. Um, Hard for myself or anyone who's racing at at 8:30, right? And we might get drug tested or whatever. But think about the things that you can try to help yourself to get in and get out. And furthermore, prepare, prepare. And what that means to me is, I'm lucky that I'm staying um, a short walk away that has a kitchenette and I've actually even got a bath, so I've kind of like thought about the concept of making sure that I've got my nutrition all already prepared. Um, the night after my individual race, I'll be trying to have like a bath and a cool down and whatnot. But everyone's different, right? But you try to make sure that you just try to de-stress and decompress as much and as quickly as possible from your first race to get prepared for the second one, right? Now let's just say you are racing Friday like I am, which isn't until 7:30 or 8:30 p.m. at night, which is the relay. But you want to make sure that you understand that the only things that matter to really decompress and to really de-stress is sleep. Um, it's a given, right? And nutrition. As you said this to me a couple of weeks back, Anthony. Food and fuel is recovery. Like fuel is recovery. So just being prepared and I don't like. Sorry if this sounds too harsh, but you can always prepare your food. I don't care who or where, like, I don't care if you're not near a grocery store, it's just harder for you to get to. You can always prepare the food. You can always be prepared. Um, like making sure, right, waking up the next day and you've got your second race, making sure you are hydrating, of course, and um, getting your body moving to allow yourself to recover. I'm a big believer, and especially now with having you by my side, Anthony. Like like movement is recovery. If I'm racing at, let's just say, 8:30 p.m. on Friday night, I'll be sure to be moving in the morning before that to allow my body to naturally recover. Look, like apart from that, like they're my answers, Anthony. And the thing about that, right, is I also am lucky that I've got a couple of other like tools up my sleeve. Like I've got a personal like a PT assistant with me um, that's going to help me, like flush out anything like massage, trigger points, etc., etc. So it's just making sure that if you do have people that can help you as well, if they really want to help you succeed, they will as well. So, did I leave anything out on the table there, Anthony? Do you think?
Uh, no, I mean, I have a couple questions. Say you can't get to sleep after your first event, right? And you're going in to your second day. What kind of things would you be doing to help yourself there going into the relay? But also, I want to tailor this because I think that's fantastic what you just talked about with the elite athletes who are doing day, because a lot of people are going to do Friday race, Sunday race, or Friday, Saturday race, Um, there are going to be select athletes who race twice in one day. Some
Yeah,
people who race on Friday and then race the relay that night. There's some people who race their pro race on Saturday and then their doubles race in the evening on Saturday. So
yeah.
you're going to have multiple people. What do you do in that case where you're two races in a day or where you are uh, unable to get your sleep or some of
Mm.
the types of things you do? Because that is great. I think what you said there about getting your recovery in, that has to be paramount. Don't worry about sticking around the venue and staying there and doing all that. Like you need to, this is you're here to perform, you go home, you relax, or you take care of yourself. to come back and do it again. And you got to do that 3 times in a row.
Yeah. Get in, get out, right? Like, and that, like, I'm actually creating that as a little bit of a motto for me, right? Because I need to be sure that I am getting in, doing my thing, and getting out because I understand that the environment in there is a party, as we all know, and that is going to be heightening my stress levels without even knowing it, right? But that's my first thing. Second thing is like get off your feet. Like get off your feet when you can, and lying horizontal is so important. If you have the opportunity to lie horizontal instead of actually sitting down on a chair, please do so, especially after a race leading into a second one. Um, I've found that being a lot better to recover. And Anthony, you might be the one to what? Why is lying horizontal better for, I guess, like recovery, like quicker recovery?
I mean, I would probably just say it's easier for your heart to pump blood around, not fighting
Right.
gravity when you're vertical.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So,
So,
like guys, like here's the thing. I don't think there's any special any special like tips or tricks here. It's kind of just like doing the basic and the simple things right. I think to go back to the question of if you can't get to sleep, Anthony, one thing that I do is I said like I'm glad I've got a bath. I do love a warm bath to really just kind of soak in there and with the lights off actually and try to like
you got
try to
some
like
candles
like be
lit and you're just
I knew you were gonna
relaxing, put
throw
some
some
salt in there. Is that
yeah
kind of what you're going for?
I
Little
might get
ambiance.
I might get some Epsom salts in there. Yep. Might get some white noise as well. But yeah, it's a bath if you have it, guys. Yeah, just to really decompress as quickly as possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Um, Tell me about what would you take? Like, because I know that's going to be super helpful if you can't sleep. You taking things like your triple mag or anything else. Is there stuff that you would be supplements you would want to take throughout the day or that night?
Yeah, so the only thing that I take for sleep at the moment is my triple magnesium from Pillar Performance that you can find on thefeed.com. And that just allows me to start my recovery process quicker or quickly, right? It allows me to wind down after a big day of training, and I've made sure that I've got enough for world champs, right? I will probably start taking it next week in the morning and in the afternoon. Right now, I'm only taking it in the afternoon, but especially because I know that my body will be very heightened for 3 days. I'll be taking like a double scoop in the morning as well. So that's the only thing that I'll be taking for proper sleep, Anthony. Yeah.
Yeah. And just everybody out there, the pillar triple magnesium is actually something that Lauren takes as well. And we've been taking it for a long time. Started taking it long before she was working with TheFeed, because it's the only powdered magnesium you could find that was sports certified. She
Mm.
used to use Calm. We both used to use Calm, but it's not sports certified. So the pillar triple magnesium is something we get on TheFeed now. And guys, I got something for you. If you want, you can check the show notes. I'm going to be sure to put it in there, a link to thefeed.com, but you can also go to thefeed.com/team/the-hybrid-engine, and you can become part of our the feed team. And on that, what you'll do is you basically get a sponsorship. You get $80 of annual feed credit. And if you're your first time buying, and if it's not your first time buying, you can get 5% back in feed cash on any future orders. And you can even get a free
Nice.
water bottle if you order over $65.
Perfect. I could
Personal ones.
easily order
But
$65
yep.
worth
So if
every
you
time.
guys want to go to the feed, thefeed.com, they're great. They really do help the athletes out too. And they have a lot of stuff on there, guys. Anything from hydration to carbs, protein supplements, gear, superfoods, and the Pillar Triple Magnesium.
That's it. That is it.
uh, So that's great. But what else would you do, JK, if you're racing on the same day?
Mm. So same day, let's just say you've got a 10 a.m. race. You're out.
Say you got a solo race in the morning and a doubles race at night.
Yeah. As soon as you finish that first race, the first thing comes into my head is get in, do your thing, and get out. Get out, and if you do have the time to go back to your accommodation, do so. Lie down, fuel up, get off your feet. If you can have a nap, absolutely. Whilst you're doing all this as well, if you do feel the need to, obviously, like warm down accordingly, right? I should have said that. Spin the legs for a little bit, stretch. But if you do have the time to lie down. Not and if you're not a good napper, then just lying down is still going to help. But then making sure that you are like warming up and getting prepared for your second race as much as your first, right? Just don't think just because you had raced at 10 a.m. and you're racing again at 6 p.m. that you're already warm. You should make sure that you're activating your body and priming yourself for that second race as well. But once again, hey, there's no real news here. It's just kind of like doing the simple things right, getting off your feet, nutrition, and making sure that you're warming up again.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, I like that. And guys, if you have any questions at all about anything we can help with in terms of you're racing multiple times in a weekend, you need help with that, or if you are racing one time, but it's later in the weekend and you're going to say you don't race until Sunday, that's your only race. I'll use myself as an example. I have one race, and that's on Sunday midday, and I'm going to be at the venue probably all day Thursday and Friday and Saturday.
Yeah,
So I need to be making sure that I take care of myself, walking around in comfortable shoes. I need to be taking care of my calves, sitting down as much as I can, or laying down whenever I can, and making sure I get enough sleep.
yeah,
So if you guys are like that, you don't want to miss the action. Say you want to be there every night for these elite races, but you don't race till Sunday. You need to make sure that you are preparing yourself properly for those conditions,
that's it. Yeah,
because that is taxing on somebody.
yeah.
Um, it's tough. All right, so we're gonna get into the listener questions, guys. We're gonna still do our sport to hybrid fitness racing, but JK has a hard cutoff today, and I can do the sport to hybrid fitness racing number 5. We're gonna talk about CrossFitters. I can actually do that solo, so I'll add that at the end of
Cool.
this episode after JK and I are done. JK, we did get somebody that requested though we do a sport to hybrid fitness racing specifically on Irish hurley, and I have no idea what Irish hurley is. And they said
Irish
Irish hurley
hurley.
to HYROX. Is that
Is it
like
actually? Hang on. Is it Irish hurley or Irish hurling? I think it's
Hurley? Well, it says Hurley, HURLEY.
Ley. I think I've heard Herling.
All right. So, oh yeah, this says hurling. And when I searched
Yeah.
it,
What is it
Hurley,
though?
a hurley is a hurl or hurling stick. It's a wooden stick used in the Irish sport of hurling.
Ah, okay.
And camogie. It typically measures. Okay, so they talked about the stick, but um, okay, so it is. It looks to me, this is interesting. I pulled up a picture. It's the sport of hurling.
Yep.
Hurling is an outdoor team game of ancient Gaelic Irish origin played by men and women, one of Ireland's native Gaelic games. It shares a number of features with Gaelic football, such as the field and goals, the number of players, and much terminology. So I'm
Yep.
going to have to really look into this and what the training for it is like to determine how to go from this to HYROX. But it looks like field hockey, maybe a little bit. I'm
That's
not
what I'm
sure.
that's what I'm picturing. I think yeah,
Look,
I think
some kind of lacrosse or field hockey.
lacrosse. Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
But
They
I've
got
got
some
no
videos
idea.
on here. If anybody knows what hurling is and you want to educate us, go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know what you think, and I'll look into the training for it and tell you how you go from Irish hurling into HYROX.
That'd
But
be great.
I will do CrossFitter to HYROX later. We got
Yeah.
some listener questions. Before we get to the listener question, guys, just a little plug here asking for some reviews and some ratings, both on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get it. Right now, looking at our Spotify, we have 60 ratings of 5.0 on Spotify, which is pretty good. Let's see if we can break that 100 mark. And if anybody just can share the podcast with one person, that's the majority of how we get around. We don't have a what's it called for this? A social media platform for this yet. Maybe in the
Oh
future
yeah.
we will,
Yeah.
but we'd love to just put out this content to help people in any way we can. So if you share it with one person, that's really helpful to us. And if you can just leave a rating or a review on the episodes or a comment, I do get to read them. We did have a few comments on the last one. Some of them were the embarrassing stories, which are always super fun to read. And some of them, some of the other comments were just thank yous. So, um, one of them from John Get Strong. But I wanted to read a text message I got this morning. So we're recording this Friday. I got a text message this morning from an athlete that I've been working with, and he hit a PR in New York. And I just want to read it because I think it was really good. I think I can read it without identifying him because I didn't ask him if I could. But these are the things that, as a coach, make me excited, make me happy. Like I love coaching the elite athletes, but one of my favorite things is I've actually been part of two coaching groups that have helped two different people lose over 100 pounds.
Wow,
And
that's awesome.
that's life changing. That's huge. Health and fitness leading to just miracles for your body
Yeah.
in the future, and that's longevity for these people. But I woke up to this text message, and I'm just going to read it out here. Hey, I just wanted to tell you something. I know I am not an Elite 15 athlete. On the athletic front, I am probably marginal at best, but I am nearing 50 years old in a family of men that die in their 50s primarily from heart disease. My father died of his seventh heart attack at the ripe old age of 53. On top of that, I work about 60 hours a week and have since I was 18 years old. I have three kids that I've devote a lot of time to. I made a commitment to myself and my wife and kids in 2013 that I was going to break that trend of poor health and early death. And I discovered that to do that, I personally need a goal and a competitive outlet where I can compete against others, but also against myself. The HYROX world has become that for me in an amazing way, a way that allows me to really dig in and work on being the best version of myself. Because I am so competitive with myself, not breaking through in races is frustrating, but also inspiring. It's made me want to work harder. I just want to tell you that a sincere thank you from the bottom of my heart for the time you spend on my programming and encouraging me. I'm not setting any worlds on fire or winning any medals, but the improvements that I've made in the last couple months are probably just as pronounced as any you'll see. And I owe you a huge thank you for that. Very grateful. Just wanted to tell you that I appreciate you. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I just want to share it because I loved waking up to that. He set a PR in New York this morning. He ran under 75 minutes in the pro for the first time. When I think just in a race a couple months ago, like maybe 2 months ago, he ran over 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So he had a great PR. And he did text me a little bit later that he got a penalty, and it said that they added 4 minutes to him because they said that he ran out the in arch and out. He
Oh
swapped the in
no.
and out arch.
Yeah.
But he told me he's 1,000% sure he didn't do that. The arches were only about 20 feet apart, so he thinks it's an issue with the chips that like he ran too close to the arch as he came out or in.
Yeah.
So hopefully he gets that resolved because that put him back over the 75-minute mark. But and it makes it so he doesn't get the world championship spot that he
Yeah.
had done. So we're gonna figure that out. But I was just really excited to get messages like that. Those are the best ones.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
so
Yeah.
anyway,
I think it puts a lot. Well, it puts what I'm doing into perspective, right? Like, just personally, like coaching as well, and doing what I'm doing as an elite athlete is all well and good, but getting messages like that, as you said, Anthony, is truly life changing. And you know, like I'll be the first to say that no one's journey is more important or more accomplished, like more, yeah, just more important than anyone else's in my eyes.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
I agree.
super
Like
exciting.
I love coaching the elite athletes. You guys are a lot of fun. Like there's a lot of dedication, but I think there's a mix and a skill as well to coaching people to PRs and because everybody puts pressure on themselves in different ways, and you
Yeah,
can relate and see like, yes, JK, this is your livelihood, like competing and racing. Um, to this person, this is their life. You know, they work somewhere else for their livelihood, but having HYROX and having these encouragements basically to say, hey, I'm going to break the trend of my family. I'm going to be here for my kids and my wife. Like, I'm going to put forth this effort. Uh,
yeah,
that's inspiring. That's what's anybody as a coach can tell you. Those are pretty much the most meaningful things.
absolutely, absolutely.
But
So well done, mate. I'm proud of you for that, Anthony.
he put in all the work. You know what that
Yeah.
means, JK. I'm not
That's
the one that
a
did it.
hey, that's a question and a half we'll have to get to at some point.
Yeah. Um, okay. So going on, let's get to at least one of these listener questions. I know you only got a
Yep.
couple minutes here. So, um, here's one. Just curious to see what your opinion on this would be. Uh,
Hmm.
I'm just going to pull this one up. So during COVID, some triathlon races took place indoors with treadmills and stationary bikes beside a swimming pool. How cool would it be to see HYROX invitationals where some of the top guys battle it out for prize money in a HYROX gym environment on a treadmill?
Interesting.
What's your opinion on that? I'm very curious because I know I have one.
Um, my opinion is that why not? Yeah, sure. The thing about that though is you can't call it a HYROX. Um, and what I mean by that, if you're listening, um, even thinking about what you do for a simulation in your gym is totally different to what I do in my gym. As much as we're doing the same thing, we're not doing the same thing because of the setup. So you can't call it a HYROX in my eyes, but you can call it a fitness test. And that's okay. Like that's great. But yeah, treadmills. I personally think I don't think it would be the same type of fitness test on a assault runner or a curve runner. I think it'd be totally different because of that type of machine being a lot more power driven, maybe posterior power driven. Anyway, but yeah, Anthony, like it'd be a cool test.
Yeah, it is a cool test. Everybody runs simulations, right? And usually most simulations, you do them on a treadmill. At least we do. So you have that. But if you want to go during COVID, HYROX was around, and the first world championships that Lauren and Hunter won were on assault runners
Yeah,
in Hamburg, Germany. They got flown out there. There was 6 men and 6 women. Unfortunately, on the women's side, one of the women, Rebecca Nader, had to drop right before the race started. She actually had to go to the hospital, and then uh, Linda Meyer, who is still in the Elite 15, was also in that race. She dropped after the ski erg. So
right,
only 4 women finished that race, including Sam Briggs, the 2013 CrossFit Games champion, and then who took fourth, and then Sarah Colte, Viola Oberlander, who just barely missed out on Worlds this year. She ran in 3 of the majors plus the LCQ. And we'll be racing with Linda in doubles, and then Lauren, who won that race. Um, You can look that up. The 2020 HYROX Elite 12 is what they called it. Uh, and on the men's side, you had Hunter McIntyre, Tobias Lotvine, Lucas Storath, um, Marcus Friesen, Adam Klink, and there's one more that I'm forgetting. I'm leaving him off. Sorry. Um, was it Chris Woolley? No, somebody from Australia.
Really?
Yeah. Um,
John Wynn?
no, not John. Uh, I'll look it up because I don't remember the names, but um, I don't want to see it ever on a treadmill again. Not just because like visually I like watching the running. I hope whenever they broadcast, at least people say, "Oh, stay on the stations. We want to see the movement." I think it's exciting watching the running. Moves happen on the running. People pass each other. Like put that at least follow the leaders in the corner during the
Yeah,
runs if you're just going to watch the stations.
yeah, yeah.
Because I think that's super important to see, and I think it's exciting still to watch.
Mm, mm.
Um, Here we go. So the men of the Elite 12 was Hunter Lucas, Tobias, Tim Schroeder, Adam Klink, and Marcus Friesen. I guess the Australian athlete did not show up. Uh,
Oh,
they had won the uh, what was it called? The online
oh yeah.
World Series of
Um,
Fitness. Yeah,
yeah,
virtual championships of fitness.
right,
The Australian had won that. I don't remember who it was. So they definitely got an invite, but it looks like they didn't show up to it.
right. Okay, okay. Um, yeah, yeah.
And
I'd rather race like
I'm I'm
yeah,
with you on that. Like the reason I don't want to see it on a treadmill again is because um, that favors body size.
yeah,
Like right now, I think the race is pretty balanced as long as the sleds don't change from with the new turf. Like
yeah.
because you don't want to see like selection biases for body size becoming a thing.
Right.
If you run on an assault runner or a curved treadmill or whatever, um, running form and running size are given priority. So even a smaller athlete who would normally run faster on the ground is not going to be given the same preference on a curve or assault runner
Correct.
um, as the bigger athletes. They just generate more power.
Yeah.
So I think it changes the race a little bit, but not a lot. Um, and
Mm,
I think it's more impressive for some things, but then at the same time, like you lose the rock zone, right? Because they're just running 1,000 meters and then the station's right there.
yeah,
So if we're trying to do 8.7, what do you do there?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. True.
but I
Yeah.
understand, like, during COVID, they had to do it like that.
Mm,
And it was a great compromise at that time.
for sure. For sure. Um, yeah,
So,
it'll be cool to see, but I'd rather race properly in an environment of a race.
yeah, we want the crowd in there. We want to see people. We want good filming. Like that's why they do it on the grid because it's much better visually.
Right. Yeah.
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 So a lot of good things there. All right, JK, I know you got to go. So what I'll do is I will chop here and add the hybrid fitness racing, sport to hybrid fitness racing of CrossFit, and then we will repick up and do our closing. So take it away, solo Anthony. Thanks, other Anthony. So I'm going to go over now what we talk about when we say we're going from CrossFit to HYROX and the type of things you're going to want to focus on in that process. Uh, Primarily, when you look at a CrossFitter, they're going to have pretty good movement patterns if they've been in it for a while, because that's a big focus of CrossFit is movement patterns, how you move, and functionally moving well. So moving through the range of motion, the way the body was meant to move. That kind of stems over from like gymnastics and sorry, not CrossFit, but weightlifting. So having that ability to move well, especially if you've been in CrossFit for a little while and you've had a good coach, they primarily will teach you how you want to move. Uh, so movement patterns of CrossFitters are usually pretty good. And just to get into a little bit more background of it is most when I talk about CrossFitters, I'm not necessarily talking about like the CrossFit Games athlete in the sport of CrossFit, because that is, no matter what somebody wants to say, that's completely separate from like the methodology of CrossFit. CrossFit, in its basic methodology, is good movement patterns, ability to be 80 percentile of everything. Whereas, like the sport of CrossFit has skewed heavily towards strength, because the stronger you are, the lighter percentages you're actually moving during a workout. Uh, and in more recent years, they've skewed away from being able to do faster and instead just make it heavier. So that's kind of the route that the methodology and the sport have taken. We're going to go with the methodology. So your basic CrossFitter coming over to HYROX is going to be doing, uh, we'll call it one class, 6 days a week, an hour class. It's HIT, so it's high intensity interval training, usually anywhere from 3 to 20 minutes long. And if you look at that versus HYROX or really any other hybrid fitness race, including DecaFit or Deadly Dozen, or even if they're trying to go longer and do a half marathon or something, we're more in the range of like 40 to an hour 20. So 40 minutes to an hour 20. So first thing you look at is like, hey, that aerobic base, the thing that supports everything else you do, needs to be expanded. You need to be able to move for a minimum of about an hour. Whereas most people, if you're going to do a high rocks, it might be an hour 40 to 2 hours. So you have a long way to go in terms of just feeling that impact load on your body. Um, One of the differences between training for CrossFit and training for HYROX is the difference between HIT. So you'll still do workouts. You can still do circuit workouts too, but the intensity of them is going to come down a little bit. Instead of doing more HIT, which is zone 5, zone 4, you're going to more do GPP. So general physical preparedness. It's basically functional movements at, if you're using a 5 zone heart rate model, it'd be about zone 3, but it's at a reasonable pace for you where you're not sprinting through them, because most of the time they're longer and it's building your aerobic system. Um, and so one of the things is that a normal CrossFit class will usually have you do a warm up and then either like some skill practice or a specific strength, and then a WOD. And the WOD stands for workout of the day. And instead of the extra skill practice, you could throw in some aerobic work. So go for a run during that time and start to extend that run. Usually for effective runs, you want about 45 minutes. But you have to build to that too. Like, so start out with 20 minutes, 25, 30 minutes, and build till you can get to 45-minute easy runs as like your base level. But a big priority is that usually CrossFitters coming over to HYROX will move very well. And as long as they keep up with their mobility, and the mobility can include your weightlifting, is fantastic for uh, keeping that mobility going. Uh, and so one thing I do want to do is I want to go over a little bit about what a normal CrossFit week might look like and what you would do or change into that. So just as an example, this is actually a whole week that from actually 2019 that we had programmed in CrossFit. So it started with a warm up, and then the strength for the day was 5 sets of 1 rep back squat at about your 2 rep max. You'd go every 3 minutes. From there, we would do a skill and we'd work on the skills of bar muscle ups. So you would do things like hip to bars, turnovers, negatives, banded bar muscle ups, and you'd practice that movement because that's the movement that's going to be in the workout, the WOD. And then the workout itself was 4 time. This is all the first day of the week. The workout was 4 time, 12 clean and jerks at 115.75, 6 bar muscle ups. Then 12 clean and jerks at 135.95, 6 bar muscle ups. then 12 clean and jerks at 155, 105, 6 bar muscle ups, then 12 clean and jerks at 185, 120, 6 bar muscle ups. And all that was for time. When that workout was done, we had an accessory or an extra credit for anybody that wanted to. And that one was 10-minute EMOM of 10 wall balls at 30 pounds for men and 20 pounds for women. So a heavy wall ball. That was your normal 1 hour class. The next day was an active recovery day. So you would do like 20 to 30 minutes. Well, the classes had a different like boot camp style workout as the WOD programmed. And then Tuesday, or sorry, not Tuesday, but the following day was strength. The strength for the next day was actually built into the workout for the day. So your strength was warming up to your 3 rep max deadlift. And then once you were done with the 3 rep max deadlift or getting up to that weight, the workout would start. And it was a 12-minute AMRAP. AMRAP stands for as many rounds as possible. And it was 50 double unders, 10 handstand push-ups, 1 deadlift at your 3 rep max. And you would do that as many rounds as you could in 12 minutes. And you would practice the skill of handstand push-ups as well before that workout. So warm up, skill practice, then warm up the deadlift. So a specific warm up, then the workout. And then finally, the accessory afterwards was a 10-minute EMOM of 10 kettlebell swings, men with a 124-pound kettlebell, women with an 88-pound kettlebell. And that would be the basic day 1 hour class for that one. So you can see already we've done skill work on bar muscle ups, we've done skill work on handstand push-ups, and you could scale down the workouts too. So instead of handstand push-ups, you could do push-ups, you could do dips, you could do feet against the wall, partial wall walk into handstand push-ups, feet elevated push-ups, things like that. The next day, it was uh, basic warm up. Then you warm up specifically into the strength. The strength on this day was 5x5 front squat, going every 3 minutes and building over the 5 sets until you reach a 5 rep max. And then the workout for that day, the WOD, was 4 time, just 1 time through, 30 shoulder to overhead at 135.95, 30 bar over burpees, and an 800-meter run. And that was, very high intensity. And so you'd go through that, and then the actual accessory today would be the skill. And the skill that we had was 30 rope climbs for time. So you'd practice your heel lock, you'd practice your rope climbs a little, and then you do 30 for time. And 30 rope climbs for time is a lot. It usually, for the faster people, could take anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes. Slower people could take upwards of 20 minutes, in which case you'd probably cap them. But you'd want somebody that could actually do a lot of pull-ups in order to do that. The next day was an active recovery day again. So you like row a 5K or 10K, nice and easy. And then the following day was a general warm up. And then your strength on that day was a 10-minute EMOM of 2 thrusters, work to the heaviest double you could over those 10 minutes. And then the skill was like kipping or pull-ups practice. And then the workout was actually 3 rounds for time, the WOD, 3 rounds for time of 10 double kettlebell snatches at 44 pounds for men and 26 pounds for women. So you'd have 2 kettlebells, 1 in each hand that are that weight, 20 kilos, 12 kilos, and then 15 chest to bar pull-ups, and then 500-meter row. And you would do 3 rounds of that 4 time. No accessory on that day because that was a longer workout and you'd want to spend more time doing the skill practice of the kip. And then the final day of the week was a general warm up. You would have your strength as 5 sets of overhead squats every 3 minutes. And it would be 3 reps of overhead squat. And you'd build up to what you could over those 5 sets. And then, so you'd warm up pretty good with your overhead and position and everything. Practice the priority of movement. And then it was a pretty basic workout. So your overhead squat positioning would be the skill focus of the day. And then the WOD was 4 rounds for time of 3 thrusters at 185 for men, 120 for women, 6 bent over row, and 9 stone over shoulder or Atlas ball or D ball over shoulder, 150 pounds for men, 120 for women. And then the accessory was another 10-minute EMOM of 10 wall balls at 30 pounds for men, 20 for women. So you can see it's a pretty comprehensive week, but those were all 1 hour classes built throughout the week. Um, so that is actually something we did. I think that was 2019. And then there was more programming on top of that for anybody that does competitions or is trying to go to the games. Like you would do weightlifting accessory movements like panda pulls, clean deadlifts, high hang power snatches, things like that, working positioning in your weightlifting. So lots of barbell movement, lots of just like refining how you're getting into things. So that kind of stuff is where I'm basing off like a normal CrossFitter going to HYROX would be. The biggest thing here is that they're missing the amount of running and impact load that they would need. And they're overdoing a lot of the skill work that you would need to be able to compete or complete any HYROX or hybrid fitness race. So really going from CrossFit to HYROX, one of the things you really want to pay attention to is your aerobic base. And I would say start adding in lots of, not lots to begin with, but build up your running. You can build it up also through your rowing and your ski erg and your biking to build up your aerobic base and then start to transition it to the running where you can start to resist impact. The good thing about the amount of weightlifting that CrossFitters do is that the bone density usually gets pretty good and you're able to resist that impact more and more, especially if you're taking your easy runs actually easy. So going from CrossFit to HYROX, I think you actually have an advantage in terms of completing the race. You're going to do really well. You're going to be able to manage all the weights. You're going to be able to manage the skills, the low skill that like a HYROX would require or any of these other races would require. But the biggest thing missing is uh, your aerobic engine, and so to build that is one of the things that takes the most time. There's a lot of debate like what's harder, getting stronger or building your aerobic engine. Uh, Both of those things could take years. So start light, start easy. And if you're looking to be competitive in the hybrid fitness racing as you come over from CrossFit, you're going to have to really build up that engine. And even for the best athletes, I mean, 6 months wouldn't be enough. You need years, maybe even multiple years. If you look at the progression, this is something that we came from, Lauren and myself, and basically this was the type of programming, this was the type of stuff we were doing for years and years. And then Lauren originally started just adding like 3 to 5-ish miles almost every day on top of these other things we were doing to our CrossFit. Always very easy runs, and I mean super easy, like just getting the load in, the impact in, for multiple years, 3 to 5 miles added on top of this stuff, never doing speed work with it because this addresses that component of the speed and the engine speed. So really we would just continue from here, and then we started to reduce the applied skill work and the a lot of the like non-necessary stuff, keeping a lot of it in because functional movements and general physical preparedness that we do is trying to just get complete fitness, uh, but we needed to run more, and so then we transitioned more into that double threshold that we've talked about. So I hope this helps you guys getting from CrossFit into HYROX or into hybrid fitness races. Um, Basically, just start adding 20-30 minutes of biking or rowing or skiing or even jogging, very light. And then as you develop, you want to very slowly sprinkle the faster stuff in there. But if it's not your like main focus, I really do think all the things in CrossFit, such as pistol squats, toes to bar, handstand push-ups, muscle ups, those are fun, those are great to do, and they really help. And pushing sleds and pulling sleds actually helps as well with your weightlifting and contributing to a balanced body, left and right side, with the single leg stuff. So anyway, guys, that's going to conclude our sport to fitness racing series number 5, CrossFit to HYROX. So thanks a lot, and back to you guys, JK and Anthony over there. Welcome back, JK. Let's close it out.
Thanks for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed Anthony going solo, CrossFit to HYROX. But if you ever want to reach out, as we always say, guys, we are always here. We love the questions, so keep them coming. I'm on Instagram, jk.jameskelly. And Anthony, you are?
I'm at the Hybrid Engine, guys. You can find us there, or you can email us at hybridcoachingpodcast@gmail.com. And we'll try to get any answers back to you there. So, guys, we're still looking for more stories, more comments, more reviews. Love to hear from the community, and they're piling up. We're getting through the questions as much as we can. Next week is 1 week to Worlds, and I'm pretty sure, JK, that for the World Championships that week, I'm going to try to steal some time with each of the elite athletes and kind of do what we did last year for different posts. But I might also put up a solo episode before Worlds comes out.
Yeah.
So, guys, we got a lot of good content coming up. And JK, I'll let you get going. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Sounds good, man. Thanks, Anthony.
Yep. Thank you for listening to the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. If you'd like to reach out and get in contact with us, you can email the Hybrid Coaching Podcast at gmail.com, or you can find us on Instagram, either at the Hybrid Engine or at jk.jameskelly. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.